What's going on, my dudes and dudettes? Today we are working on the E36 drift car. So what we're going to do is be reinforcing the rear strut towers. So I'll give you a show right here. You can see it right here. So we'll be making a plate to go on here, welding it in, making a plate to go around the black and welding it in, and making a plate on the front, and then putting a bar across. So hopefully that makes it nice and strong, because I will be running true coilover setup. So it puts a lot of force on these rear strut towers, and they are known to break. So I'm going to do my best to reinforce them. So let's get started. Alrighty, so we've got some 3mm mild steel plate and some 4mm. I'll be using the 3mm for the top of the strut towers and around it and around the front, and then the 4mm I'll be using on the floor, where I'm going to brace it across to. So that's what we're going to use, and then I'll show you the tube that I'm going to use between the strut braces later, but let's get started with this. So I got all my measurements, and I went and got some good cardboard, so it's a little bit thinner, a bit easier to work with. So I'm going to redraw it onto this with the right measurements and cut it out and see if I can make a okay stencil for strut towers to be able to draw on this. So I've got my stencil cut out. I've already fitted this to the strut tower and it fits fine. So I'm going to grab my hole saw, put it in my drill press and drill the hole out, and then I can measure out, put this on the hole, trace it and put it on. Alright, so I got all the brackets cut out. These are 3mm thick, so they're going to go on top. And then I also went ahead and made the curved brackets. These are 4mm thick, and these are what's going to go on the side and have the bar in between each strut tower coming off. So I wanted those a bit thicker, so they're a bit stronger, and they're just going to sit around kind of like that on the strut. So I'm going to sit these in place and show you what they look like. So that's what it looks like there, sitting with the old strut sitting there. That's not my coilover, that's just an old shitty thing. And then that's the curved plate that's going to sit around like that. So I'll fully weld that out right around and then clean it up, and then that one's going to sit there, and I'll weld around the top and down the sides, and I'll do that on both sides. So I'm going to get started. Alright guys, so it's a new day. It's super windy outside, so I hope you can hear me. My roof's like banging up and down like the roof sheets, so I hope that it doesn't show up on the audio. But I went ahead and finished up the welding in the top mounts and the side mounts. Got all it done. I got caught up just doing it, so I didn't really film much, but I'll give you a quick look and show you what they look like. Alright, so that's the left hand side. Don't criticise my welds too much. I'm not a welder by any means, and this stuff is really hard to weld. Like going from 3mm to like 0.9mm was really hard, trying to get my welded put on the right settings, but I got it done. It should be pretty strong. So that's that side, and seeing there, that's the other side. This side's a bit worse, but it's not going to matter once it's painted and cleaned up. So that's that done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the steel for, I think it's I don't know what 2mm wall thickness, 3mm wall thickness, 25mm pipe that's going to go in between both sides from there across to that side. So I'm going to cut that and sit it in place, and I'll give you guys a look. Alright, so I've got the bar sitting there. So basically that's it. I'm going to go ahead and weld this out. I'm still contemplating on whether I'm going to put a plate just here on the floor and running one from each corner to the middle on both sides, obviously. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough, or whether I should do it, whether it's going to look better, but whether it's worth all the extra work or not. But yeah, so I'm going to weld this out and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So I finished up the rear strut bar installment. I think the reason why it was welding so shit is because I was running out of gas. I finished up what I was doing, and I went to weld a bit on a bit of scrap just to see what it was doing, and I was out of gas. So I think that's the reason why. But right now that that's done, I'm going to clean up all the welds for when I stitch welded and welded in plates for the rear firewall. And once they're cleaned up, I can hit it with some of this flexi flame stuff. It's just like a flame proof sealant that's I think it's flame proof up to 4 hours. So got to have this just to seal up all the rest. I did it on the other side and painted it, so I'm going to do it on this side, and then I can get to painting the whole rear boot, cleaning it up and making it look nice. Alright, so I've done all the flexi flame, as you can see there, all patched up. So I'm just going to go around, pick all these little bits off there, make it look a bit better, and then I think I'm going to start on the rear fuel enclosure, which is going to go from like there to there and hold my fuel cell in. Alright, so as you can see from the last shot, it is a new day. I went and got a fresh haircut, but I'm ready to start some new stuff. I'm going to start right now on the rear frame to support the fuel cell. So I'm going to quickly show you in the boot what I'm going to do, and we'll go from there. So I was planning on dropping the mount down and across, so then the fuel cell would sit into the boot a lot lower. So that's like the height of the boot there. I was going to sit it down a bit lower, but I can't do that with the size of the fuel cell I got. If I have to do the frame around it, there's definitely not enough room. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the steel straight from there right across the other side, and then just sit the fuel cell on top of it. So I think I'm going to start doing that now, measuring it up and cutting some steel. Okay, so it's currently night time, but I got a fair bit done. I got a bit carried away and didn't film, but this is what I got up to. I'm just about to tack this bit in, and then I've just got to make another one there, and that's where the sump's going to sit on the fuel cell, just in that corner. And then after that I'm going to brace down across and back up to that piece. But other than that, that's what I've gotten up to. So I'm going to do a bit to this and I'll show you what I get up to. Alright, so I got that piece all welded in, but it's getting late, so I think I'm just going to call it quits for tonight. Probably like 11 o'clock. So I'm just going to call it quits and get back to it tomorrow. So yeah. Alright guys, so I got a little bit carried away and ended up finishing this off. I think in the last clip you seen it, I had just welded that in. So I added the other side, added all these 4 brackets on each corner, and did this little drop down section. That's where the fuel sump sits for the fuel cell. So gave it a coat of paint, got to do a clear coat still, but then I think the only thing I've got to do is add the rubber sheet I'm going to put on here, obviously cut it out, and then sit the fuel cell on and bolt it in. So that's it for that. But I think that's going to be it for this video. I've been working on this for like 6 hours and got it finished. Sorry I didn't film, I just got carried away and just did it. So I've been doing other little bits and pieces throughout the day, but I think I'm just going to go inside and chill out until tomorrow. I'm going to be back working on the E36 again. I've got to like clean up all the edges where I cut out the like the spare wheel carrier in the boot. So I've got to clean that up, clean up all the paint, and then start painting it all out. And then I can sit the fuel cell in and start running fuel on. So I think I'm going to start that tomorrow. Should be good. Peace.